When Olivia de Havilland died on July 25, 2020, at the age of 104, the last remnant of Hollywood's golden age died with her. Having starred in numerous film, stage productions, and television shows, de Havilland is most well known as the last surviving cast member of Gone with the Wind. De Havilland received the first of her 5 Academy Award nominations for the role of Melanie Hamilton in the film. An Oscar she lost to Hattie McDaniel, who won with her role as Mammy in the same film. When asked about her disappointment at the loss, de Havilland stated, "I'd much rather live in a world where a black actress who gave a marvelous performance got the award instead of me." Olivia Mary de Havilland was born on July 1st, 1916, in Tokyo, Japan, to British parents Walter de Havilland, an English professor at Imperial University, and Lillian Fontaine, a well-known stage actress. A few years after her birth, the family moved to California in 1919, where she grew up along with her younger sister, Joan. Her father would move back to Japan while the girls stayed with their mother in California, where Olivia would develop her love for the dramatic arts. Both de Havilland and her sister Joan Fontaine pursued careers in acting. The sisters were very competitive with each other, even though they both had successful Hollywood careers and both winning Academy Awards. In 1942, de Havilland and Fontaine were both nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress, with Fontaine winning that year for her role in Suspicion. De Havilland would later win for To Each His Own and The Heiress. The sisters are the only siblings to have won Academy Awards in a lead acting category. Even though both sisters had successful careers, the rivalry between the two never ended and lasted until Joan died at 96 in 2013. De Havilland formed the acting bug at a young age, performing in school and college productions. She was noticed in a school play of A Midsummer Night's Dream by the director Max Reinhardt, who then cast her as Hermia in the film adaptation of A Midsummer Night's Dream. The film did not do well in theaters. However, at the age of 18, she signed a 5-year contract with Warner Brothers. It was her role as Arabella Bishop in Captain Blood and as Maid Marian in the 1938 adaptation of Robin Hood opposite Errol Flynn that propelled her to stardom. She would eventually co-star in 8 movies with Errol Flynn. De Havilland had her first top billing in the comedy Call It a Day, where she played Catherine Hilton, who falls in love with the handsome artist hired to paint her portrait. However, it was her performance in Gone with the Wind that we all know her from, a role she almost didn't get because of her contract with Warner Brothers. The film was produced by MGM, and unlike today where actors move from project to project and studio to studio, back then, actors signed contracts to work only for that studio. To get the role, she had to appeal to the head of Warner Brothers, Jack L. Warner, to loan her to the other studio. Warner initially said no, but thanks to her appeal and others appealing on her behalf, he eventually relented, allowing her to perform in the film as the kind-hearted Melanie Hamilton. A portrayal that was described as a gracious, dignified, tender gem of characterization by Frank S. Nugent of the New York Times. As soon as principal photography completed on Gone with the Wind, de Havilland was back to work in the film The Private Lives of Elizabeth and Essex, alongside Errol Flynn and Bette Davis. Unhappy with the lack of control she had over the roles she was being offered by Warner Brothers, she refused to appear in many of the films they offered her. This led to her being suspended multiple times by the studio and led to a lawsuit when they extended her contract because of the suspension. She won the lawsuit against Warner Brothers in 1943 that set a legal precedent for freeing herself from a contract, now known as the de Havilland Law. This resulted in better and more balanced contracts for all actors and effectively began the end of the contract system in Hollywood. In response, Warner Brothers attempted to blacklist de Havilland, eventually failing. With more control over her career throughout the 1940s and 50s, she continued to star in films and received accolades for her performances and her stunning beauty. Her first post-Warner Brothers film was To Each His Own, where she received top billing as an unwed mother forced to give up her child for adoption. She won the Best Actress Academy Award in 1947 for To Each His Own, and won again in 1950 for The Heiress. Her other two nominations were for Hold Back the Dawn and The Snake Pit. Besides film, she starred in numerous stage productions, including a stint on Broadway in Romeo and Juliet as Juliet. In the 1960s, her film career began to die down, and with fewer offers on the big screen, she moved to television, where she was nominated for a Primetime Emmy and won a Golden Globe Award for her role in Anastasia, The Mystery of Anna. After appearing in 49 feature films, and with 61 screen credits to her name, she stepped away from acting after her last on-screen appearance in the 1988 TV movie The Woman He Loved. She retired to her home in France, where she had lived for over 50 years. However, she didn't fully step away from Hollywood, regularly returning to take part in award ceremonies, retrospectives, and do an occasional interview. Her personal life was as interesting as her movie career, as de Havilland dated a few of Hollywood's most dashing bachelors, including Jimmy Stewart, John Huston, and Howard Hughes. She was married twice, first to screenwriter and novelist Marcus Goodrich in 1946, with whom she had one child. The marriage was brief, ending in divorce 7 years later. 2 years after that, she married Pierre Galante in 1955. She met Galante in 1953 at the Cannes Film Festival, with whom she had her second child. The marriage to Galante was also short and ended in separation in 1962, eventually divorcing in 1979. Both remained close until his death in 1998. Olivia de Havilland lived an amazing and long life. Having witnessed the changes from black and white to color, she helped end the studio contract system for actors. In 2008, she received the National Medal of the Arts. She was appointed a Knight of the Légion d'honneur in 2010, and she was named a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire in 2017. Besides all of the awards, her most significant legacy is that she left us with a collection of brilliant films and television performances that we can enjoy.